You're done.
This one's not on.
That's all right.
It should be it.
Oh. You're done with it, you're done, so.
There. That's what they done to now?
I just did. They're like,
Oh, okay.
we're good?
Yep. We're good. Okay.
So we're good on audio, we're good on video.
Like that. Yep.
We can start?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, we'll call to order the Board of Adjustment meeting for Burnett County, 6 o'clock, April 5th, 2021. The Secretary will read the notice of public hearing.
Notice of public hearing, variance number 2101, Lambert. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Trade Lake, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that Paul Lambert has made application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use Code of Ordinances as follows. To construct an addition onto a non-conforming garage and exceed the 25% expansion limit located at 12433 Cedar Point Terrace in the RR2 zoning district, Lot 5, CSM, Volume 14, page 92, Government Lot 4, Section 20, Town 37, Range 18. Variance number 2102, Adabo. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Webb Lake, Wisconsin, Burnett County, that Thomas Adabo has made application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use Code of Ordinances as follows. To construct an addition to a dwelling which will not meet the required side setback, the proposed addition to be approximately 8 feet from the side lot line located at 29897 Arbutus Drive in the RR1 zoning district, Lot 16, plat of Murmuring Pines, Section 324114. Variance 2103, Baker. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Wood River, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that David and Kathleen Baker have made application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use Code of Ordinances as follows. To construct an addition onto a non-conforming garage and exceed the 25% expansion limit, and the addition to be at a setback of 17 feet from the road right-of-way on North Shore Drive located at 11633 North Shore Drive in the RR1 zoning district, the west half of Lot 9, Lot 10, and Lot 11, Block 1, plat of Jensen's Lake Shore of Wood Lake, Section 27, 3818. Variance 2104, Anderson and Subnica. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Scott, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that Dan Subnica is on behalf of Holly Anderson has made application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use and Shoreline Protection Code of Ordinances as follows. To construct a dwelling at a setback of 40 feet from the ordinary high water mark of Fish Lake and to allow the variances to be valid for up to 5 years, located at 29251 Pine Knoll Lane in the RR2 zoning district, Lot 9, Block 2, plat of Pine Knoll, Section 5, 4014. Variance 2105, Erickson Family Investments, LLC. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Neenah, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that Ken Erickson, on behalf of Erickson Family Investments, LLC, has made application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use Code of Ordinances as follows. To allow various structures to remain which were constructed or placed or expanded without proper land use permits. These various structures don't meet required setbacks located at 25310 State Road 35 in the C1 zoning district, lots 2, 3, and 4, CSM volume 23, page 234, in the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, section 28, 3916. Variance 2106, Charlevoix. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Oakland, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that James Charlevoix has made application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use and Shoreline Protection Code of Ordinances as follows. To construct a dwelling at a setback of 35 feet from the ordinary high water mark of Falls Lake, located at 6419 Circle Road in the RR2 zoning district, Lot 1, CSM Volume 5, page 127, and Government Lot 5, Section 2, Town 40, Range 16. Variance 2107, Burnett County Forestry and Parks Department. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Union, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that Susan Tolander, on behalf of the Burnett County Forestry and Parks Department, has made application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use and Shoreline Protection Code of Ordinances as follows. To construct a 10 by 20 foot fishing deck at a reduced setback of 0 feet from the ordinary high water mark of Yellow Lake, and to construct a sidewalk at a reduced setback to the ordinary high water mark of Yellow Lake, and a reduced setback to Yellow Lake Road, located at 27902 Yellow Lake Road in the RR1 zoning district, Lot 1, CSM Volume 6, page 183, and Government Lot 3, Section 254017.
Thank you. See here. Notice posted in accordance with Wisconsin statutes for the open meeting law. We have the.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We've got that, though. That's been taken care of. It's in the paper, so we're okay there. Approval of agenda. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda order that we have?
I make the motion that we approve the agenda order.
I'll second that. In favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah. And the meeting procedure is the information is that both board members have been out and visited all the sites. We'll have the public comments are limited to three minutes per person, and we ask that when you're presenting that one person here online here, we're doing this. That's a little different through the COVID, but one person speaks at a time. We need to have you state your name and address and the reason for your comments, so that we know who's talking, and that goes for both sides here, so that it gets recorded properly. I guess the other important thing is that we will hear all of the information coming in on it, and then we will close that portion of the meeting, and then we will deliberate amongst ourselves, which you will hear, and then we will make a decision yet tonight, so you'll know our decision before the end of the evening. And that's how we'll do each one. And one thing is the applicant, local officials, and DNR shall receive within 30 days a letter summarizing the hearing, also including information on applicants' rights to appeal the decision in circuit court within 30 days. Any person aggrieved by this decision, or any taxpayer, or any officer, department, Board of Review, or Bureau of the county may, within 30 days after filing of this decision in the office of the Board of Adjustment, commence an action in circuit court seeking the remedy available by certiorari. So with that, we will start with variance 21-1, Lambert. Are they online? Do we have?
They are.
Can you acknowledge you're on?
Yes, this is Paul Lambert. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Paul, thank you. Yes.
All right, great. Yes, my name is Paul Lambert. I'm located at 12433 Cedar Point Terrace, Grantsburg, Wisconsin, my mailing address. And I'm requesting a variance to add on to my garage. One little corner of it is a little bit into the 10-foot setback. It's 7.4 feet away from the line at one corner by about 12 feet or so. It is not then within the 10 or beyond the 10 feet. The area that I'm proposing adding on to it and would like, consideration on giving us the variance is will not make it any more in non-conformance. It is even further away from the line as we go towards the road. I guess you guys have probably seen the site. The garage is not really parallel with the line. It's a really slight variance I'm asking for to add on to this garage. By getting it back into conformity, I would have to shave a corner off the garage, which is a pretty major undertaking. The stairs are right there to the partial upstairs area. And if my intent was to be able to I would really like to be able to store my boat in there inside and not sitting outside in view of, anybody passing by. I guess that's it.
Okay, the size is 16 feet by 26 feet is the addition,
That's correct.
and you'll come in from the same side that the other garage doors come in too, right? That's what the drawing shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it will be the same height as the existing garage? Everything's the same?
Yes.
Drawing show? And there's no living quarters or anything above, it's just storage?
It's just storage.
And is there any bathroom or anything going in?
No.
Do we have any other comments from anybody else?
We have no correspondence on this one. Yeah.
So nothing from the town or nothing from neighbors or anything like that? We don't have anybody online? No? Okay. Any other questions from you?
No. Seems pretty straightforward.
Okay, Paul, I think that's all we have for questions. So we'll,
All right.
We'll, as far as that, we'll deliberate, and you're listening, so you'll hear our deliberation.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll notice in my report there that this was the garage that was built with land use permit number 27964 in 2003, and it was supposed to be 26 feet away from the line. So, looks like they missed a little bit.
So it's just the one corner that's encroaching, though.
Yep. Since it's non-conforming, they
That's why we're here.
maximums that you can add on to
Yep.
and all that.
Yep.
So that's why they need the variance.
It looks like there's 7 feet, give or take.
Yep.
That they meet. They're 3 feet encroaching, just in a one little corner there. Yeah. Okay.
And for all practical purposes, it's not even something you'd consider to shave off a part of the garage to conform.
No.
And there isn't a great deal of harm to public interest if you left that.
And we know where the property line is too, so a lot of times that becomes an issue. You don't know exactly where the property line is, and sometimes then it's over or something. Where here we know where it's at, so we're okay. Well, there's definitely the steep hill behind to construct the garage, septic on the other side of the lot, so it doesn't work to do something on the other side. It's the place to do it. I think you got unique property limitations here because of the steep hill and that. I don't think there's any harm in the public interest. We're away from the lake and the road and everything. Unnecessary hardship, we've determined, garages are required. And, more than 2-car garages and live on the lake is really needed. Well, I guess I'd make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
I second it.
And, there weren't any violations or anything to correct or anything, so. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Carried. Paul, you have your variance. So you want to comment? Yeah, you want to contact zoning then on the regular business hours then to get the permit and do everything.
Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll just take a second here and then we'll get to the next one. Okay, are we ready for this next one? Okay. Variance number 21-2, Edible, to construct an addition to a dwelling which will not meet the required side setback at 29897 Arbutus Drive. Do we have somebody?
Yes. Excuse me. Yeah, Thomas Adabo. I'm the owner on the line here.
Okay, thanks, Thomas. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and present what you've got here, kind of summary what you're doing.
Okay. Yes, and this is in regards to the property at 29897 Arbutus Drive. And we're looking to put an addition on our existing cabin. And we've looked at different sides of the cabin to put this on. And I'm assuming you have documents in front of you that shows the map of survey. But we looked at putting it on the south side of the existing structure. But to do it over there will require there to be grading that will go down towards the lake. And so therefore, you know, there is the possibility of having runoff and soil erosion going down towards the lake. And so we definitely didn't want to do that. We also considered going up another story, but the cabin is built slab on grade, and so there's no footings or anything underneath that cabin, so it structurally could not support a second story. Therefore, we were looking to put the addition on the, what I'll call the northeast corner of the existing cabin. In doing that, the corner of that addition will be 8 feet 6 inches from the lot line, which puts us 18 inches closer, not to meet that 10-foot setback. But it's only that corner. Basically, we're talking about a small section of that line there where we will be, closer than 10 feet, but it only exists for about 9 feet on the property line. But 8 feet 6 inches is the closest we would be to that side lot. Also, I submitted, and I'm assuming you got this, an email from my neighbor that this, on the north side of us, that this affects. But I got an email from him saying that, do you have that in the file?
I remember reading it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he basically stated that, he has no objection to this matter. And, that's pretty much simply it. So he has no problem with this addition going on. He would be the affected neighbor to the north of us. The one on the south of us, of course, is not affected by this. I think that basically covers it. I don't know if you have any questions for me in addition to that.
Yeah, we do. So what is the addition going to be? What? It's just one story, 16 by 20 feet. What's going to be in the addition? I don't see a floor plan.
Okay, it's going to be a bedroom and a bathroom.
So one bedroom, one bathroom.
Correct.
Okay. And how many bedrooms do you have in the home now?
Currently, there's 2 in there. Yeah, so this will be a 3rd bedroom, and then it will be the 2nd bathroom in the home. And therefore, the septic system will get upgraded with this project as well. You can see on there the existing septic tank is basically where the addition is going to go out. So that tank will be relocated and upgraded to handle the additional bedroom.
Okay. And the height of it, it'll be the same roof line coming off the house?
Yes, yes, it will be. Yep.
And no basement or anything, you're just gonna do the same slab on grade?
No, there will be a basement underneath that addition, as well.
And what will be in the basement?
There won't be anything underneath there. It's basically just gonna be a, poured foundation underneath there. I'll eventually just gonna use it for storage.
Storage and storm shelter, probably,
Right, correct.
Good. Okay, that's all. Do you have any questions for him? Do we have any other correspondence besides what we talked about?
Nope, you only have the one that we talked about.
Yeah, we have that in our stuff, so good there. Anybody else online, no comments? Okay. Okay, well, we'll close this portion of the hearing then, and then we will deliberate amongst ourselves, and we will hear what we come up with.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, well, the septic was the big one, that would need to go, so that's, he's taking care of that and upgrading the septic system to handle the extra bedroom, which is needed.
Looking at the site, that did seem a logical place to put it, as you mentioned, that they are digging a basement and not have that closer to the lake and disrupt the soil on the hill, because that's a fairly sizable hill.
I think that unique property limitations are here in the orientation of the house on this small lot and the sloping of that lot in the front on the south side. I don't think we have any harm to public interest. We're coming back away from the lake. You're not going to see it where he's putting it here is better than the south side that you would really see from the lake. I think it's a win-win, better than going up another story or 3 stories that would, really look bad, from the lake you'd see it, so. And then, the unnecessary hardship, the smaller cabin, if they need the extra bedroom and stuff is what they're talking, so. I think we're okay on that. The violation was a lock and chain on the septic tank and the septic system size for 2 bedrooms, so they're taking care of that, so. I've got no issues with this one.
I don't either.
As long as we take care of the septic system, then we're good.
That being said, should I?
Mm-hmm.
Right, I move that we accept this application as stated, and that means, of course, that the septic system is going to be expanded and upgraded accordingly, and a violation of the tape cover taken care of.
We have a motion and a second. I'll second it. Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. So you have your variance, and during normal working hours, contact the zoning office to get the permit, so.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just a second here, and we'll get to the next one. You ready? Yeah.
No one has signed up for variance 2103.
What we typically do when that happens at other meetings is we just kind of hold that
We'll
one
put that to the end.
until the end, and maybe they'll call in.
We're okay with the agenda to do that, so we'll just hold that off to the end. Okay, great. Okay, that's my paperwork here. Okay, so then we'll go to the next variance is 21-04 Anderson and Studnicka to construct a dwelling at a reduced lake setback on Fish Lake and allow the variance to be valid for up to 5 years at 29251 Pine Knoll Lane. So do we have somebody?
Hello, this is Mark Krause from Wagner Surveying.
Yes,
I'm going to lead off speaking for the owner and the buyer. I'm not sure if they're all online. Would they want to answer in, I guess?
Yes,
Yes,
we are
Holly
here.
Anderson is here.
Can you announce who you are, your name?
And the
Holly
buyer.
Anderson? Who? I'm sorry, everybody talks over everybody. Holly Anderson is here. I'm the owner, current owner. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Holly. And then the buyer?
The buyers, Dan and Ann Stanichka, are present as well. Thank you.
Okay. This is Mark Krause, and I'll speak first. Basically, we got a very unique parcel here. It's on a peninsula. There's an existing old ruins, as you saw when you were out there. We did quite a bit of work as far as averaging and so forth out there. Both neighbors are closer than 75 feet on both sides. The one to the easterly side is about 47 feet. Both of those parties have placed riprap about 4 or 5 feet of riprap in the last year or two because the water is extremely high out there. And as you notice, there's probably been quite a bit of erosion on this site. When we were first out there 2 or 3 years ago, there was probably 4 or 5 or 6 more feet of shoreline along the sides there that has eroded since we've started the work out there. And so that is also one of the things that they're looking to do is place some riprap around the edges to protect the existing shoreline from further erosion. And so that's kind of eaten into the setbacks and so forth, what we'd like to do. The reason both parties are involved here is that Holly wants to ensure that there's a buildable site out there, and the present buyers have a specific plan they're looking at, and I'll let both of those speak to that as we go forward. And so the proposed house and garage that are on there are what the Stadinkas would like to have as far as a building plan out there. And so that is what their request is for, and I think that's what we should need to act on. The boxes that we have out there are basically just squaring up the structure if for instance, somebody else was going to buy instead. And so that's kind of the question, whether we ask for the specific or ask for the box to be allowed for a future buyer, potentially, if the Stadinkas were not able to buy or satisfied with the result. And I'll let probably Holly speak first.
Well, the existing structure that's on there now is not a structure. It was condemned, and we did tear it down to the county's specifications. However, it would really improve the quality of the lake and the ambiance of all of the participants of the lake to actually get that removed. And that's one of the things that the Studnickas will be doing. That existing site, if you've been out there, is very close to the lake. And that footprint I left so that if need be, we could use that according to Jason Town, which would really put the lake more at risk because it's sitting right up close to the lake. The parcel has been in my family for many, many, many years, and it's always been a very unique, difficult piece of property. I think it would be very good to not let it sit empty because this is a waterway that people go from the small lake to the big lake, and therefore people want to stop in the channel, they want to park their boats on there, they want to have parties, which all leads to things that are not good for the habitat of the lake. Plus, it's just not, I don't know, it's not nice for those that are already paying for their lakeshore taxes, et cetera. So I think that would just, to have an actual person there caring for the property, cutting down the trees, et cetera, would really enhance this piece of property. It is a very unique, difficult piece of property as we have an easement for the driveway. And the neighbor on the one side, on Lot 8, has buildings that are very close to the property line as well, and that can be addressed probably better by Mark. But, and the high water mark where the house was put was the original where the high water mark was really very, very high, and the lake had a 7-year cycle. I don't know if any of you had heard that, but the lake has never reached that high again. So, I just think that this would really help it. We also own a home up on the lake, so we would not be subtracting from
the county and the town, this would be a very good addition to it in taxes and use of the town's facilities. And I think that's all I have to say, unless you have questions.
I don't have any questions. Do you have any questions?
No.
No? So next person?
Hi, this is Ann Stanichka. Dan and I will both chat here just briefly. Thanks for allowing us to be on this evening's agenda. Just real quick, a little bit about us. We've been married 19 years, tomorrow actually. We have 2 kids, ages 11 and 8, and we absolutely love lake life and fell in love with property when we first saw it. This would be intended to be a permanent cabin for personal use only. Might even be a retirement home for, or place for us to retire down the road. We don't plan on renting this out and having it be an Airbnb or VRBO. This would be for personal use only. We intend on using local contractors, and we're already working with a bank in the area for financing. And we even plan on, as soon as we're able to join the Lake Association. Dan will get into a little bit more specifics about the property.
Yes, thank you, and hello, everyone. Our third talking point is we would plan on improving the property immediately this summer upon closing, should this variance be approved and the purchase order go forward, by putting riprap on the southeast side. That's where Wagner Surveying has noted the most damage, so we would focus on that. In fact, we already have outdoor enterprises scheduled for the week of July 22nd after closing, which would be at closing, to do 85 feet already this summer. We would clean up any eyesores, any dead trees, and remove the old existing structure, as Holly had mentioned. The lot would remain vacant for most likely 3 to 5 years. This would give us adequate time for us financially to build a cabin that we're proposing, or one that is within range and within the allotted variance per code. This would also allow us to take care of the property and build more time to more prior to the building. We are requesting the 42 by 72 footprint, as this gives us ample space to fit a suitable cabin with an attached garage. An attached garage is needed, as we believe. We would not be able to be, or would not be granted another variance in the future for a permanent shed storage facility outside of this proposed footprint. We specifically searched for narrow lot plans, albeit difficult, but we have found plans that would fit our needs within this 42 by 72 footprint. We were made aware of the letters from the neighboring properties on Lot 1 and Lot 8. We do have some notes, if you'd like to hear them, on how we would plan on addressing their concerns.
Yes.
Okay, so in response to the neighbors' letters submitted to the county board, well, we would certainly like to start things off with our potential new neighbors on the right foot and certainly cordially. So here are a couple of things that we would do to counter their points to ease their concerns. The plan submitted on the application shows a small second-story loft area. One of the neighbors has asked how many stories it would be. That one has a 2-story with a small loft area. We also have alternate plans to be 1-story. We would not exceed 2 stories. So one neighbor included there was no hardships. There are indeed hardships with this property, as we believe, some are which due to the placement of the sheds on Lot 8, regardless of, quote, what have to been dealt with in 2005 with Mr. Fisher's shed, they are still too close to the property line. Thus, we cannot place a septic to meet the desired spot because of this. Also, because of Lot 1's placement of their well on Ms. Anderson's property, this again limits the location of the septic. In addition, we are not asking for a conventional septic tank. Rather, we will be using a holding tank due to the location and challenges previously mentioned. We did have Wade, a well driller or a septic guy out there. He did have a spot indicated where we could put that, and it would be a holding tank. Being that it's a holding tank, that should have no bearing on Mr. Fisher's concern for land and water being destroyed. Both neighbors are concerned about the 40-foot setback as written in the survey application. We are actually not requesting a 40-foot setback to our understanding. The footprint on the survey in which the cabin, that 42 by 72 foot footprint, is at 53 feet. So we are really only asking for roughly 6 feet outside of the 59.5 average setback determined by Wagner Surveying. Our potential future neighbors ask how much fill would be brought in. We will rely on our contractor to grade the project accordingly and per code. Concerns of the current problems with standing water on their low-lying properties not be relevant to our building or property. And finally, one of the questions was, if I quote, how much mitigation on land and water will be destroyed or taken down. Ann and I are avid nature lovers and outdoors people. We plan on keeping as many trees as we can on the shoreline and not clear cut like many of the properties on this point, even neighboring properties that had removed many of the trees on the shoreline. We even plan to replace many dead trees and we removed with the seedlings we found on the property. So that's all of our talking points. We would be happy to address any questions you might have for us as well.
This is Mark from Wagner Surveying speaking one more time. One of the questions brought up was the floodplain issue, and all the property where the building site would be is above the floodplain. It does probably show to be in the floodplain on the county or FEMA sites. We would be doing a letter of map amendment for the area of where the building is going to go before any construction or any permits are requested out there. Other than maybe the riprap would be done before the floodplain issues would be resolved, but the rest of the things would be taken care of as far as floodplain heights. And the building site is out of the floodplain, so they could, with minimal fill-in, they could build up where they're requesting.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions for either of those three people? Okay, and then do we have other people to speak on this? Will we take the next one?
Yes. And Fisher?
And before the floodplain issues,
Sarah Fisher?
Yes, I'm here. I live at 29261. I've got lot number 8 next door. Holly mentioned about the right to drive on that property there. John Pollock went to a lawyer in southern Wisconsin who brought up some information, and it looks like that much of noise. Yeah, I'm here. I live at 29261. I've got lot number 8 next door. Okay.
If you're watching it on YouTube, there's a 30-second delay.
Yeah, I realize that now.
Background, good. Mute that right now. So then just talk through the phone.
Okay.
Thank you.
I live at 29261. I've got lot number 8 next door.
I can't hear whoever's speaking. I can't hear.
Okay, I'm not saying anything. I'm getting noise off the feedback. Holly mentioned about the right to drive across our property to get into that lot. John Pollock, a week and a half ago, went down and talked to a lawyer in southern part of Wisconsin. And it sounds like that, whatever you call that law, that she can drive across my property is no longer in effect.
The survey shows an ingress and egress, and those there.
Well, that's really not an issue that we are working on here tonight. That's more of the current owners. That's not what our decision is for tonight on.
Okay. Okay.
Any other comments?
I'm listening to.
Whoever's talking, you still have the audio on. You have your audio on for the YouTube.
Turn the audio down, Sam, please. Okay, they're turning the audio way down. Wait a second, please. We'll just take a second here.
Okay. Any other comments?
It should be okay now, I think. John Pollock went and talked to a lawyer down in southern part of Wisconsin about like getting permission or, you know, finding out if we've got an easement across our property or not. I don't quite understand it. I don't have the darn paperwork here with me, but it sounds like on July 1st of 2020 that the right to cross my property isn't there anymore.
We're not here to discuss easements. That's not what we're doing tonight. The easement thing.
Oh, okay.
Attorneys do that. What, you know?
Okay. Well,
Platted on a thing. Have your easement. They're good for life, is my understanding. But that's
Mm-hmm.
talk to attorneys on, and that's not something that we would review here or do tonight.
yeah. See, that's what I thought too. But what John Pollock found out from his lawyer, it's not as of July 1 of 2020. So.
You'll have to work that out with the attorneys. That's not what we're here to do.
I know. Okay. Back to your job. Thank you.
Want to comment on it?
Yeah. No, I don't have any more comments. You got my wife's letter, though. I know that.
We got that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye now.
Yeah. And anybody else comment? Okay, next one. Chris Pollock?
John Pollock.
John Pollock?
Yes, thank you. I just had a question. If they could clarify what the actual easement from the ordinary high water mark is, I'm unclear if they're seeking a 40-foot setback from the ordinary high water mark or a 60-foot or something in between.
I guess I will speak on that because I wrote the public hearing notice. This is Jason speaking. The reason I wrote 40, and I believe it is 40, is because if you look at their drawing, it does show a deck on there, proposed deck. So if you see Mark's 59.5 lake setback average, his dashed line, that's 59.5, and you subtract 11 and 8, well, that's 19. That leaves you at 40.5 feet for that corner of that deck. So that's why I wrote the public hearing notice to be at 40 feet. Because that one corner is at 40.5 feet.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. It's a 40-foot setback from the ordinary high water mark.
Yep.
I was wondering if there's enough information to assess the proposed variance to a 40-foot ordinary high water mark. The application cites resale value and erecting a building to code. The proposed structure, I think, the residence has an 1,800 square foot footprint opposed to 1,100 and 1,200 footprint of the neighboring properties, I believe.
Yeah, we believe that the information we have here is enough for us to make a decision, and we have our 3 criteria that we use to make that decision.
All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No, okay. Mark, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
So we talked about the floodplain issue. Setbacks. And you were in agreement that there's room to put the septic in there? Did you?
Yes, there is for a holding tank.
Yeah.
And I can address the easement question if that's needed, but if it's not needed, that's fine too.
It wouldn't hurt to have your comments in the record.
For the easement, there's 2 situations out there. There's one where the existing driveway exists, and it's been used for more than 20 years on our estimation, or well over 20 years, and there's access over the existing trail that goes in there that you drove in when you went to see. There's a chance or a good chance that is a prescriptive right on it. We did talk to Mr. Fisher about getting an easement on it, but he was not willing to give one without going the next step. We will have easement rights over the Pollock property, over the existing old road that's there. That was eliminated from being a road to being a vacated or unvacated strip of land, and so we do have the right to go over any portion of that 30-foot strip adjoining. So either way, there is access one way or another. So it's not limited. The exact location is a little bit in doubt until the legal matters get taken care of there, but there is access either way.
Right, and that's not something we're working on tonight, that
Exactly, so, yeah.
the legal stuff. So if you're working on it, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then do we know what the height, we're limited to 2 stories, and like a 6-12 pitch? That sound right?
Dan, that would be your question.
Dan?
That's all right.
That 6-12.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yeah.
We do plan on having. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so the one cabin that we looked at that was 1,800 square feet does have a small loft with. I apologize, I don't know what the pitch would be, but the second story would be nothing more than a loft with a few bedrooms in there. It's not the entire structure. We also found some cabins with, or potential plans with a smaller footprint as well, that would also fit within this 42 by 72 inch or footprint. That would be 1 story, and that's roughly 1,500 square feet. Additionally, to address what Mr. Pollock had mentioned with the deck, we are not married to that deck. If that causes concern, that 8-foot deck can easily be removed. The biggest point that we would be looking for the variance would be that 42 by 72 foot footprint.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy?
Is there any chance you could put that deck on the end of the house toward the old cabin? Would that make any sense for any reason?
Well, yes, and then actually some footprints, we don't even need a deck at all. If we had that 42 by 72 footprint, we found some plans that we would be happy to share with the board and email to, that would actually be a covered deck or covered patio within the 42 by 72 footprint.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments from anybody else besides what we've received?
Well, no, there was comments from the town of Scott,
Yeah.
Chairman,
Yeah, we've seen
but
those.
I think he was confused on what they were.
We received those, and nobody online left to go. Okay, so we've heard everything from everybody. We will close that portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst ourselves. Thank you. Okay. We're going to start on this one.
Before we forget, they wanted that extra time to rebuild.
And the 5-year, yeah.
So do we feel that?
Yeah, well, the 5-year to put that on to build the thing, I think we're okay with that, but that we need to get rid of the dilapidated building and get rid of the cistern, get the lot so it's cleaned up. That, I think that's more, what the town is concerned about, and neighbors too, and the safety. Like they say, people are stopping there and using that. That's not good. So that should be just tore down, filled in, a level site, and take care of the cisterns and the old building, and be done with it. And there isn't that much to do there. There's not much left. So I think that's important that we address that.
Mm-hmm.
The 42 by 72, which includes the garage, which is important because you wouldn't be able to come back and put one on. It's always an issue when we do these. I don't have an issue with moving it back like they're doing. I think it's a win-win. You're moving it back from the lake both directions, and otherwise they could build back on that same lot. The reason they left that old structure there was because they wanted to make sure they could rebuild.
Right.
If they tore that down, they wouldn't have been able to after a couple of years. So I see why they left it. And so if they built that, they could build back 3 stories. So that would really look bad, I think,
right.
Sticking out at that point. So moving it back, I don't want to get it too high
And I think the property limitations, as you say, with the shoreline erosion that is going on in a lot of lakes, it's good to get that addressed right away too, so you don't lose further shoreline and setback as time goes on. I'm happy to hear that you're already planning to address that right after closing.
And so it sounds like they were willing to do that, to clean this up, to clean it up and get what's there and get it a decent lot. And then save up money for 5 years to build it. I don't see that as unreasonable.
I don't either.
I think it might be better if we leave the 8-foot deck off and just give the 42 by 72. You know, that keeps it within kind of what's around that area. How do you feel on the height?
Well, I think that, you know, a structure with a loft makes a lot of sense on a smaller or narrower lot, because it gives you the extra living space rather than going out anywhere. So I think that you should be able to retain that option if you choose that floor plan.
Yeah. So not a full 2-story height, a story and a half.
Right.
So then maybe so 1 story and then maybe an 8-12 pitch to do the loft.
I'm not good at pitches. You're the builder.
Yeah. If you go full 2 stories and then the 6-12 pitch, you're getting pretty high. If you do it story and a half, so just 1 story with the loft, and put the pitch at maybe 8-12 might not be quite enough to get enough headroom there. So you might need to go to 10-12. So maybe 1 story with a 10-12 pitch that gives you the loft. I think that would be good. That gives them a lot of options then what to do.
I think at this stage, they don't want it locked in. They have to pick the floor plan for sure. And it's reasonable, in my opinion, to let them have some time to think about that when they get the site prepared and corrected.
Yeah, so I think the unique property limitations are definitely here with the shape of this lot on the point here and stuff like that. And then no harm to public we're moving back from the lake. We're getting it back. Instead of a 3-story building being built there, we're moving it back. So I think that helps. It's a little bigger, but
yeah, and certainly cleaning up an old cistern and using a holding tank is going to improve the water quality and the property.
And then unnecessary hardship, I think the challenging site with the little area that meets the setbacks and all the stuff. So I guess I would make a motion to approve the variance as requested, that we limit to 1 story and then with a 10-12 pitch so that we can have a loft. And then shoreline restoration buffer needs to kick in. They need to, get the proper permits when to do the construction of the new home, whether it's 5 years down the road or whatever it is. The site needs to be developed to meet the floodplain requirements, whatever that would be at the time they do it. And then that we would remove that existing dilapidated structure and fill in the 2 cisterns and the hole for the building in that. And I think if we gave that 3 months, that was. If we pick.
They were talking about closing in July.
August, September, October. So by October 1st, when we beat the bad weather, and October 1st of this year, we did that. Is that okay with that? So that would be my motion. You have a second?
I second it.
You have a second? So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. So you have your variance, and contact the zoning office during normal business hours to work out the details.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, 1 second here, and we'll get to the next one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next variance is 21-05. We're ready on your end. Erickson Family Investments LLC to allow various structures to remain which were constructed, placed, expanded without proper land use permits. These various structures don't meet various setbacks at 25310 State Road 35. Who's going to start on that one speaking?
This is Mark Krause. I can start with that, and I believe Ken and Maria are online too. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. This property was divided into multiple pieces between the family members, and different sheds and buildings were built over the years. Some were built before zoning was put in place. Some were built afterwards, and the Ericksons have erred in not pulling the permits when they needed to on a couple of these. There's some. It's basically a commercial property, or it is commercial property. And it has an existing easement that's been there ever since it was AC Auto many, many years ago that goes to the back property of the house behind there. And all those structures on the south side were too close to the easement before at that time. And then likewise, there's an existing cabin and house on the north side of the property that has an easement and a driveway that goes back to the remaining property. Right now, Ken and Maria do own all the adjoining properties except for the property to the east. The other property to the south or southwest is an existing house, as you've seen when you've been out there. And so it's kind of a unique property with how we put the lines around here over the years. And really we're trying to get it all hooked back together so it's one conforming property without all the internal setback lines that were on there at one time, which created a lot of havoc also. And so I guess I can let Ken and Maria talk on what their plans are, how they're trying to move forward.
Okay, thank you, Mark. That Rhea or Ken?
Hi, this is Ken and Maria both. Do you need us to give us our address?
We got that.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, we're going before you tonight, try to get some of the stuff cleaned up. Obviously, a lot of it was done, prior to Maria and I even really being a part of this. And some of it obviously was done after that, on our behalf too. So we contacted Mark, been in contact with Jason, trying to figure out a solution to the problem without creating, any major disturbances. So we suggested that we put everything back into just one continuous parcel versus all the mini parcels that my father had set up prior to this.
And where are you at on that? How long is that going to take you to do that?
The certified survey map is ready to go if we can meet the setback requirements, et cetera, or whether they need to move a line. A couple of the lines could be moved, but most of the lines in the buildings for the easement setbacks, if the buildings are not allowed, they'd have to remove the buildings or part of the buildings. And I guess that's what we're really asking for, is the forgiveness of allowing those to stay, especially since Erickson is actually one of the owners on most of the properties right now. And I don't believe there's any neighbors that have any complaints about anything out there that I know of.
I have a question, where that long shed is that was extended more than the allowed 25%. There's that home in front of that would be just to the south of your office. You own that lot now as well, it's lot 2?
Correct.
Okay. Because that's where your trucks are parked in front.
Correct.
On the highway, okay, so that.
So you own that lot, you don't own what's east in the back. How about south of that, the shed that's on the south end there, the farthest south?
Mm-hmm.
Do they own the land south of that too?
No, not currently.
No, not currently, okay. So they own it in front to the west, but we meet the setbacks from the shed to the south. We just don't meet it to the west there, west and east.
West and east, yes.
I have a question then about if they do own that lot too, and we allow that expansion to remain where it is because he owns that other lot. What effect does this have down the line if they were to sell all of this to someone else and then someone else wanted to buy lot two? Would they have to remove the shed then, or is it going to be grandfathered in, or is there something there that's going to cause a problem for us?
No, once they get the variance, I mean, if somebody were to buy that in the future, they would just know that that building's there and it's going to stay there.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess we prefer to keep it that way, so that there's room for expansion of a septic on that home if necessary. That's one reason not to slide the line over right now, because we feel a storage shed being there is not as bad as making the lot smaller, where it would reduce the possibilities for a septic system expansion or change.
Thank you. I read somewhere too that the cargo bins are due to expire this summer. Are they just going to be removed from this property or relocated on the property?
I can probably speak to that, and Ken and Marie can weigh in too if they want. So they got a conditional use permit for those cargo bins, but the issue was without them meeting various setbacks and stuff, that they have to get these other items cleared up. So that's part of the reason they're coming through with this variance, because then I believe their plan is in August, then they would reapply for that CUP again once some of these issues are straightened out to kind of continue on.
Okay.
Yep, that's just it. Thank you, Jason. We actually hope to get everything cleared up immediately or well before August, just to get it all taken care of. All the other land use permits, and I believe like you said, a new conditional use permit needs to be applied for.
Any other questions, Kathy? No? And then anybody else? Public comments? No? And do we have anything from towns or anybody else? Any other?
No correspondence.
No correspondence. Okay, I think we can close this portion of the hearing and we'll deliberate and you'll hear the results. I think that by most of this gets all resolved once they combine all this. So once you combine all these lots, we don't have the crossover lots and all this setback. It would be a disaster right now if it was sold off individually. That would end up really being a mess. You know, so I think that it solves all those problems. How we look at this is would we approve this? You know, that's kind of how we look at it. Because it's there, we can't look at that. We have to look at whether we approve this if it wasn't there. That's how we have to look at it. But I think all this stuff here, you know, once they get this corrected, so we don't have all these violations, they need to get the permits, proper permits pulled that should have been pulled, and then I think we'd be okay on all. The only one that's a little bit close is this south one, but we have the survey map. So the 10-foot rule, you know, that's part of there just because you don't know where the building is. They're always getting off the property. You don't know where the property lines and stuff are. You know, we've allowed to go down to the 5 feet and stuff, you know, or even 4 feet if we need be when we knew where the lines were. So this has been surveyed. We know exactly what it was. We're not off the property there with that building. So I think we're okay with that one too. And since he owns the one in front of it, that helps too. So.
It does.
I think that, you know, with all these odd-shaped lots that we make the unique property limitations, we're really no harm to the public interest. You know, they own all the property and setbacks aren't hurting anything. And we haven't heard anything complain, nothing come from the neighbors who come in to say they had any other issues with this. So,
right.
And unnecessary hardship is a little harder to meet, but
because they're correcting the survey.
They're correcting all the problems that are here that are disasters.
Right.
They didn't necessarily create all of them, so. It makes sense for that front lot too, that, you know, so that they can expand for septic system and stuff, won't take any more square footage than you have to, I understand that, I guess. There were a couple violations, locks and chains on the septic, and some electrical wiring on the septic tank. So those will need to be corrected, so I guess I'd make a motion to grant the variance as requested with the stipulation that, what's a good date on this one, Jason? 6/1/21?
For which item?
To get it surveyed, get it all taken care of, so in the CUP and all that. We gave it till October 1st. Does that get you through your CUPs and all that?
The CUP was 8/1, was the deadline that other committee put in place. And I believe Maria said they're trying to get it done quicker than that, but I guess if you left it 8/1,
okay.
I think that would be fine.
So let's do that. So approve the variance as requested, but they need to make sure that they obtain all the proper building permits that were required on these buildings, and that's by 6/1/21. Locks and chains on the septic, correct the electrical wiring on the septic tank, that's the default. And then obtain a conditional use permit for the various structures that are being rented as storage units, or what they need for the cargo bins, or whatever that is that they need. And that will give a 8/1/21 date on that to get that in. That makes sense to you, Jason?
Yeah, and then the survey.
The survey.
That's, I think, ready to go, so you could probably do that at 6/1.
But part of this in approving this is that survey happens, that the submittal is saying that that's what they're going to do. And so for us to prove that, that's one of the requirements, of course, is that they need to get that survey and combine all these lots, so that's part of it. You have a second?
Yes.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, does that make sense? Did you get all that? So it's approved, you just get a hold of Jason on normal working hours and take care of it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, finish that one up, we'll get to the next one. Have we heard any more back on the one that we didn't hear from?
Yes, they are
Oh,
on.
okay. Okay, so the next one is variance number 21-06, Charlie Boyd, I'm not sure how to say that, apologize, to construct a dwelling at a reduced lake setback on Falk Lake at 6419 Circle Road. Are you on?
This is Mark Krause again. I'm representing Mr. Charleboy, and I believe Jim is on also.
Okay.
I am here, and also with my wife, Margie.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mark, you going to start?
Yeah, I can start. Basically, what they have is a very non-conforming structure that's it's very close to the lake and is also in the 10-foot setback line. The first plan you have, I believe Jason gave you the updated plan. Is that correct, Jason?
The latest one. Yeah, we both have the latest plan.
Okay. You do have the latest?
Yes, yeah, we both have it.
Okay. And so originally we were trying to save the 2 pine trees that you saw right behind the home, and after talking to the contractors and other people, they didn't feel that the activity around those trees would probably end up killing them anyway, even if we tried avoiding them. And so they looked at a little better solution, which we think is moving the house back to basically 50 feet and allowing the deck to be in the old house footprint. And that would be what we're proposing with the latest drawing we have. And they'd also like to keep the shed in place up front, but they would definitely remove all the old boathouse deck area and the living quarters that were underneath the deck as part of the requirements, and move back as we have shown on there. And Mr. Charleboy can speak a little bit more to what their preferences are there.
Yes. first of all, thanks so much for what you guys do. I can't believe it's the best job. Sometimes you get people mad at you and everything else. But anyway, we love it up there. My in-laws have been in Voyager Village for almost 40 years. And so we're up there all the time, and we've been looking for a place. We found this, well, almost 2 years ago, and we love it. We've met most of the neighbors because, as you know, that deck is really close to the water. So whenever anybody comes by, we get to wave to them and talk to them for a little bit. But we would like to, we care about the environment, so we want to be able to build a nicer cabin. As you saw, probably the roof is kind of like a zigzag motion, could fall down any minute. But we want to do what's best for everybody, the environment, the lake, and all that kind of thing. So we feel like if we move back, we don't want to lose the views and everything, but we'd be willing to move back 35 feet so we give 21 more feet of lake shore, or I mean, before you get to the lake shore. And then what the building would be is a 1-story with a basement. It'd be a 612 pitch.
A 1-story, 612 pitch. Okay.
Will that allow you to have a walkout yet with that little bit of a slope?
Well, we're using Heart of the North builders, Al and Chris Gorvigan, and they said we could.
Okay.
Walkout in the basement.
They'd have a walkout on the southwesterly corner, I believe. They might not be daylighting the whole way, but definitely on the westerly side of the building for sure.
Yeah, like where the carport is now.
Okay.
Okay.
That's about all I've got. If you have questions.
So we got room for a septic in the well and all that. So what's the deal on the shed that's within 75 foot of the water? That's an issue.
Well, we wanted to keep it so because we're moving back off to keep the water toys and stuff, but it's not a deal breaker for sure on our end.
And we'd like to move that back to 75 just to solve that.
Okay.
How about the carport? Is the carport going to stay?
Nope, carport's going.
So that's gone.
Yep.
And you will not have.
Carport's not, and so is, I don't know if you noticed, but so is the traditional outhouse.
The outhouse is going too, okay. Yeah, that's right on the property line, looks like.
And there will not be a garage here?
Are you going to do a garage?
At this point, we don't have any plans to, but that's part of why we didn't want to go back too far, because if we do need a garage, it would have to go behind.
Yeah. So they'd almost have to go on the west side of the driveway, west of the carport?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying? Because you got the
Yes.
other side? Yeah, okay.
Right.
I think there is room for, this lot being, there is room to do a future event.
Yeah, because I think that you'd want to consider that since everybody comes back a couple years later and they say, we need a garage. So we want to be thinking about that now.
And that's exactly why we didn't go back any further, because we were afraid we couldn't get a garage in if it comes time to get.
Okay. And then where are we on the floodplain on this one, Mark?
We're fine with the Minerva Dam there. The flood level on Minerva is only about a foot to foot and a half, and so that's probably well within even the bank out there, even though the water shows further. It will be out.
That the county agrees with that? Yep. Yeah, good. Okay, I think that's all the questions I have. Kathy, any questions?
No.
Anybody online with questions? No? We're good? And no correspondence, anything else above what we got? No. Okay, well, we'll close this portion of the hearing and then deliberate amongst ourselves, and you'll hear what the results are. Okay. Well, this one, I think, we've got a unique shaped lot here again. And what's there is right down on the water, so
Right.
it's kind of a win-win to move it back, right?
Yeah, I like this plan better.
I like this plan even better than the first proposal, to tell you the truth, yeah. It'd be less
Impact on.
impact on the, and even for neighbors and stuff too. So I think the small lot and the shape of the lot and everything else, we meet the unique property limitations, no harm to the public interest, we're moving it back, and we're kind of meeting the same what the properties are along there anyway. And I think the unnecessary hardship is the dilapidated existing cabin, to get that out of there. And I'd rather see them move it back 35 feet than do a three-story building back where it's at, right?
Right. There's something that we want for the shoreline, on this one, shoreline restoration.
Yeah, shoreline restoration, and then relocate that shed back 75 feet, 275 feet. That's all it wants. Carport and the outhouse are coming out.
Okay, I think, I'm ready to make a motion.
Yeah, great.
I make a motion that we accept this newest proposal of moving the house back, with this new plan. And we'd also like to make sure that you move the shed back for a setback of 75 feet. The carport, of course, is going to be removed, as well as the outhouse. And cover it all? There's nothing with septic or anything.
And then it'll be the basement with one story and a 612 pitch, I think we want.
Yes, okay, yes.
That doesn't get lost somewhere.
And then the shoreline restoration.
And then the shoreline restoration, yeah. Did you say that? I thought you said. No.
I don't think I did.
Oh, okay.
So add on shoreline restoration.
Yeah, you talked about that. Okay, good. So we got a motion, and a second, I'll second it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, well, you got your variance, and then just contact the zoning office on regular hours, and they'll tell you what you need to do.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, just give us a second here, and we'll get to the next one.
We're gonna throw in number 3.
Now, we'll do number 3 next.
Okay.
Okay. So number 3, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so, we are going to do, just a second here, I lost. We're going to do variance number -21-03, Baker, to construct an addition to a non-conforming garage and exceed the 25% expansion limit and reduce the road setback at 11633 North Shore Drive. Are you with us?
Yes, we are.
Okay, you can start. You can give us kind of a summary of what you're planning to do there.
Okay, we officially are Wisconsin residents as of last week. This is our retirement home, even though we've been coming up here for over 30 years. So we are trying to take everything we have from our house and find room for it in the garage, and we're not doing so well, especially with a boat and a couple cars and that. So we initially looked into constructing a pole barn on the other side of our property, which we wouldn't need a variance for. The neighbors would not be real happy with it because we put it 10 feet from our property line. And one of the issues is everybody looks for that stretch of woods. It's the only one left on North Shore Drive on the lake side. So we thought to be less invasive and keep our big trees and woods in that, if we could get a variance and just extend our garage, we would be able to take care of this. We're not looking for another access. We're going to use our existing driveway, and it's just basically to store our boat and cars in for the winter.
So the access will be to the front, just like the existing garage now.
That's correct.
Yeah. And it'll be the same height as the existing garage now?
Yes.
Same roof line and everything, and then no living quarters or anything in it?
Nope.
No bathroom or anything?
Nope.
Oh, good, okay. Is there storage up above, or?
Nope.
Oh, just the garage, okay.
Right.
Okay, any questions? Do we have any correspondence from anybody or anybody online? No? No?
No correspondence.
Okay.
Our neighbors do know what they're doing, and they're very happy with this approach.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything contrary to that. And it looks like the garage has been there forever, and you're about 5 feet off the property line, and that's what the old ordinances were way back when. So we're maintaining that, and we have the survey there, so we know exactly where your property line is. So that's
Yeah,
good.
we had that now.
Okay, well, we can close this portion of the hearing then, and then we'll deliberate amongst ourselves, and you'll hear the determination.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I was going to say that their addition, even toward the road, is still not as close to the road as a lot of other structures on that street.
Right, yeah.
And with the woods there
Yep.
and so forth, I think they're really retaining the natural beauty of the lot by
Yeah.
doing it this way.
You won't see it from the lake or anything.
No,
I think the unique property limitations, that a small lot. Don't harm the public interest or away from the lake. We would see that. And unnecessary, we determine garages and that to store all our stuff in and everything in this climate is what we need. So I think we meet the 3 criteria.
I think that this is fairly straightforward, and I'm ready to make a motion that we
Great.
accept the proposal
Okay.
as written, and I don't think we need to add any other further conditions or anything,
No,
because they have no violations prior to
no,
this.
we're not affecting Lake Shore or anything, so I agree. I'll second the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Aye, carried. Okay, so you have your variance, and just contact the zoning office in the normal hours, and they'll get you going.
Sounds great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we got one more here. Variance number 21-7, Burnett County, to construct a fishing deck and sidewalks at the reduced lake and reduced road setbacks on Yellow Lake at 27902 Yellow Lake Road. At the boat landing on Yellow Lake there. Do we have somebody?
Hi.
Okay.
Yes, this is Susan Tolander with Burnett County.
Okay.
And this proposal is actually for a joint project between our department and the Yellow Lakes and Rivers Association. The Lakes and Rivers Association plans to donate materials for this project, and our department plans to build it. And so our goal here is to just provide another amenity for the public at this park. We have constructed 2 of these fishing decks at another one of our county parks, Clam Dam County Park, and they've been heavily used and enjoyed by the public. So we would like to do the same here at Yellow Lake. With the shape and size of the lot, there are no locations that are buildable without a variance. So that's why we're here requesting this variance. This fishing deck and sidewalks would also improve accessibility at the park for people with disabilities. There was a question, I believe, regarding an archaeological issue at the park, and I did just get an answer from the state today, which I forwarded to Jason. The DNR does not require any waterway permits for this project, as long as we're stopping it at the ordinary high water mark like we plan to. And so there will be no archaeological review from the state for this.
Yeah, we received from Jason, so, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I think that's all I have at this point. Like the application says, we plan on a 10 by 20 foot fishing deck and then 5 foot wide sidewalks that would connect to our pavilion and then to the fishing deck.
Okay. Any correspondence for anybody else? Different than what we had. We don't have anybody online, so we're good there. And okay, Kathy, you have any more questions?
So did you say that's going to be a cement sidewalk?
Yes.
That's it? Okay, we'll close that portion of the hearing then, and we'll deliberate amongst ourselves, and you'll hear the decision. We did the other ones at the other parks that you mentioned.
Right. And I think that like those, it helps the shoreline erosion if you're not having people walking on loose rocks. And so this looks nice and it's safe and it saves the shoreline. So I think it's in the public interest to build it.
And it opens it up better for the handicap too.
Yes, absolutely.
It's kind of what they do. The one, when I drive by, the one in Cloud Arrows and stuff is the one I see all the time, and I see it used a lot.
I think we had the unique property limitations because you mentioned we couldn't put a pier out into that channel because of the boat traffic.
Yeah, that would be the option they could use, is the DNR giving them a permit for, but we don't want, that would block boat traffic, we don't want that, it's already narrow there. The narrow lot, benefit the public, and then unnecessary hardship, I think, to offer the handicapped people and safe place to fish and all that good stuff there is a good thing. Save the washing out of the area.
I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal as written to build a fishing dock on the shore of Yellow Lake.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. You have your permit.
Okay, thank you.
You have your variance, sorry. Contact Jason in the normal working hours, he'll take care of you. How's that? Thank you.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're done. Think you can adjourn, probably.
Oh, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Turn off all the electronic stuff here.